Okay, joining us now, Stop It Phone, Donald Trump's campaign manager, Kellyanne
Are those more people
walking in the room?
Be okay?
Yes, walking in the room, Kellyanne did on the phone, by the way. She's so busy.
I'm so happy to be here.
Final hours. Are you really? How's it going? How's it look?
It's great. You know, I work for a warrior. He just did these 6 different stops yesterday. We'll have 5 today. And this is his style, to go and take his case directly to the people, Mika. Yesterday was really phenomenal, I have to say. We dipped into Minnesota. We're going into her 248 blue wall, as you know, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Colorado, New Hampshire, now New Mexico, Minnesota, for example. And we posted the event in Minnesota, made it go live, as we say. And within 16 or 18 hours, we had 22,000 RSVPs for an airport hangar that holds maybe 4,500. People were abandoning their cars a mile away just to be there. And I know people say that crowds don't matter, and sometimes somebody will ask, but will they vote? I think folks who walk a mile to not get entrance to an airport hangar to be at a Donald Trump rally in a state that's not been competitive for years are going to vote. And we feel really excited about the momentum and the enthusiasm. We obviously have had Team Clinton on the run in terms of where they're going to schedule, where they'll deploy their super surrogates in the final days. And we're not talking about blue states, we're talking about flipping blue states. And we now have 6 different routes to 270.
So yesterday, you're talking about yesterday. Also yesterday, obviously, the news that James Comey said there was nothing indictable in Hillary Clinton's emails. How does that impact the race? How does that impact what he says on the stage moving forward?
It doesn't impact it much at all, Joe. I mean, he talks about the rigged, corrupt system not working for the forgotten man or forgotten woman. That didn't change by anything that FBI Director Comey did this summer or this fall. When he talks about the rigged, corrupt system, he means shipping our jobs and our wealth overseas. He means there being a different set of rules for people like Hillary Clinton and then another set of rules for the rest of us. That sure doesn't change. We're still talking about the Clinton Foundation and the mess that is. We know now that Chelsea Clinton's using money from the Clinton Foundation for her own wedding. We know that Bill Clinton Inc. was trying to get $66 million. We know that the Moroccan gave them $28 million. You know, when I celebrate my spouse's birthday, the country of Qatar doesn't usually cut us $1 million check for our foundation. So there are a lot of moving parts here, and I think what bothers people, what nag them about Hillary Clinton and why they're reluctant to give her that 51, 52, 54% margin in these blue states that President Obama carried twice with margins like that has a lot to do with them just not trusting her.
Willie.
Kellyanne, with about 24 hours until the polls open, as you look back and as Donald Trump looks back over the last year and a half, does he have any regrets? Does he have regrets about something he said, something he did? Maybe it was the Muslim ban, maybe taking on a Gold Star family. When you talk privately, does he say, maybe I shouldn't have done that?
Well, I won't reveal private conversations with any client, but he has said publicly, he was asked that question very recently on a different network, and he has said publicly that he has expressed regret, was a word he used, and he said particularly if he hurt anyone with his words. And I think that those who have been offended should receive that as you know, as him.
Who was he talking about there?
Well, that's between him and them, and also, you know, when we had the incident a month ago, he went on TV right away and expressed, he apologized, and he apologized privately to his family, and he apologized to America. But, you know, I think the movement that he's built, people look at the full measure of the man, they look at what his message has been all along. And for this man, Willie, to have elevated issues that were buried in the basement of the issues matrix, like trade or illegal immigration, and make people see them through a different lens, see them through an economic lens, see them through a fairness lens. You contrast that to Hillary Clinton, who's promised to put the coal industry out of work. The steel workers heard that, the coal industry heard that, other working men and women heard that, and they don't feel like she really works for them. And I'm telling you, when you go out on the road with him, it's incredibly moving to me. I grew up with people who were laborers, non-college educated laborers, and I'm just moved by the men and women and the children who are at these rallies because they want to be part of a movement. They feel like this is their last chance to really turn the system inside out in Washington, D.C.
Kellyanne, President Obama's been having fun out on the campaign trail yesterday, talking about how you can't trust you cannot give the nuclear codes to somebody you can't even trust with their phone because they might be sending out incendiary tweets. That is something that resonates with Americans. They're weighing up the prospect. Even those who like some of the idea of supporting Donald Trump because he represents a change from regular politicians are saying, you know what, maybe he's just too dangerous. He doesn't have the temperament and the calm and the self-restraint to be president.
But he does, and particularly in that role.
But if you can't give him his phone in order to send out a tweet,
he has his
you know.
phone. He has his phone. You call him right now. Here. He has his phone. He's probably watching, and he'll probably call me as I exit the stage because go, Mika.
I'm doing
Because
it.
Go.
Doing it.
Because it's a mystery to all of us when this man sleeps. So I'm sure he's watching us right now, and then he will call Mika or me afterwards. And the fact is, serious point. We already know what Hillary Clinton would do with classified information. We already know that her motto in the end is always Hillary first. Setting up this illegal server, lying about it, having multiple devices, not one, lying about that, lying about the fact that there's classified information. What Jim Comey said on July 7th under oath to Trey Gowdy's committee does not change. So we already know she's unfit and unqualified.
But we also know that if somebody attacks her, she doesn't need to instantly lash back at them. And that's what people are worried about with Donald Trump. What happens if the Chinese do something he doesn't like, or say something he doesn't like about them, or Vladimir Putin suddenly turns against him, having been his best friend for a while? Then that could precipitate a situation in which he needs to hit back in a way that is dangerous.
I think you're not giving him enough credit. But on the other hand, Hillary Clinton has been baited by a political opponent into worse. I mean, she is running the most negative, least optimistic, least aspirational campaign that I can remember in quite a while, particularly for the Democratic Party that I grew up in. We're very used to Bill Clinton and Barack Obama and JFK, and even Jimmy Carter had an uplifting populist message, I would argue, in 1976 when he won. And yet with her, it's all negative against Donald Trump. So for your political opponent to get in your head in such a way that he re-scrambles the map and forces you to go to different states and forces you to spend tens of millions of dollars just trying to attack him, I mean, to me, that says an awful lot about her. And may I say to the American people, veracity, honesty, trustworthiness, accomplishments outside of your government resume, those are affirmative criteria as well for President of the United States.
All right. So your conversation reminded Mika and me of Maureen Dowd's last line here, which is, the end is nigh. We don't know which of the characters the problem with Donald Trump is we don't know which of the characters he has created he will bring to the Oval Office. The problem with Hillary Clinton is we do know. Nobody gets less paranoid in the White House. And so Maureen Dowd, as always, encapsulates the choice.
Kellyanne Conway, thank you so
for having
much
me.
for being on. Next hour,